let's catch up with a bloke that knows how to win this race. You can stick around if you like, Matt. You're just sort of chilling here in your gear. You can be our model. We could have picked a better looking model. I'm just saying.
We're not looking so good, are we?
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. We're wearing the Penrite gear. On the side of the road, somewhere in Victoria, I'm pretty sure. There you go. He's rolling the beanie as well. Is 2000 and... I've got to keep going back a couple of years here. 2018 winner of the Hattah Desert Race, Chucky Sanders. Good to talk to you, Chucky. Oh, we're really hoping his internet... At least it froze with a smile on his face. It looks happy. There you go. Chucky, can you hear us okay?
Catch up with the familiar faces again?
Yeah, mate. Familiar or... familiar faces. That's probably not a bad way to put it. Where are you at the moment, mate? Somewhere where the internet is really bad is where Chucky Sanders is at the moment. Maybe it's better now. Let's try this.
I finished some sand riding this morning. Got my little Hattah Desert Race sort of style race going.
Yeah, right. You must be filthy. I mean, you're not, but you must be filthy that you're not where we are, or at least a bit closer, mate.
Yes, I was up in Mildura last week.
Yeah.
I had the vibes a bit. It was good to be back in the town and catching up with the locals and hitting up some of the training tracks.
Yeah, mate, this time of the year, your whole world changes. At what point do you start to really get into the zone of this race? Is it when you drive into town, or is it that Friday night session at the Oval? Like, when do you start to feel like, okay, it's time?
Probably about 3-4 months prior to the race, really. That's when the training needs to start. And that's when the vibe starts lifting. It takes a lot of effort to put in 100% for this race, and I always give it 110%. So especially last year, I put in everything, and unfortunately the weather gods ruined it. But it's a good race, and I love putting the effort in, and it's just an awesome atmosphere.
It was the one that got away for you on two different levels, though, Chucky, wasn't it?
Sorry, what was that?
It was the one that got away from you on two different levels last year.
Yeah, it was. I had it all in the palms of my hands, really, and I didn't know that it was only going to be a 4-lap race. I always kept thinking it's going to be 8 laps. It's going to be 8 laps, and then, yeah, my bike stopped just after in the final lap there, and I could see him just holding up the last lap board, and by then I'd lost 15 minutes, and then by the time I got the bike going, I lost 27 minutes. So it was pretty heartbreaking seeing that. The whole weather situation and how the race turned out. It was still fun riding around, but yeah, you didn't get that winning feeling, and coming back through the pack at 14th place, I think I finished, or something there around there. So it was going to be good to come back this year and race. It would have been perfect conditions and made a good race, but unfortunately we've got to wait another year now.
Yeah, and the whole COVID thing has really changed the face of everything across the globe. And of course, you wouldn't think a little place like Hattah would be so turned around by it all as well, but it has. And unfortunately, this is as close as we get to competition for this year. But I suppose for you, it's really about making sure that you maintain the fitness level you need and continue to press on. With any luck and things start to change a little bit, it'll open up to allow a little bit of competition, hopefully towards the end of the year or the season. And it'll just leave us in a good position to move into where we need to for Hattah next year. And trust me, the track is looking as good as it's ever been out there at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one, really. We don't know where we're going to be for the rest of the season with racing, so it's hard from us guys that do it as a job, full-time job, but we've got nothing to push towards, and the motivation, it's hard. Like, I've been speaking with Milner the last few weeks, and we don't know when we're going to go racing. It's just, the Victorian state at the moment is going really bad with all the cases, but then again, you can look at America and we're nowhere near that, but we've got to keep a control on it. And really, it's all about next year now. The year's pretty tough. We just got to keep riding through, having fun with her mates, and keep riding tracks and keep burning parts and keep all the local moto shops in business and our industry good. So
Yeah.
we just got to look at the positives. We can still ride a motorbike. Lucky we're not playing football or any other team sports as an individual sport, and the moto industry at the moment's booming. So that's great to hear.
I've got to say, seriously, you are one of the real stars in what goes on in this event. And not so much just as from a competition level, but just as a good all-round guy. This guy is never short of being able to be there for the kids when the junior pieces are on. He's not short of a word for anyone that's walking around in the pit area, irrespective of the class that he's competing in or they're competing in. And he holds himself so well. And I've seen some amazing things come out of Hattah and some awesome stories. One that we saw when we had a guy that actually broke down, and he pushed his bike. Seriously, I've got no idea how many kilometres this guy would have pushed. Here is the footage now. And Chucky's helping him, this guy, and he physically finished his part of the event and walked and run back all the way to where this guy was and helped push him to finish so that this guy would be a finisher. I think that's an outstanding effort from anybody to do, let alone a guy who's absolutely ridden his backside off and then decided that this needed to be done. So, mate, you are a star. You seriously are.
Oh, I just like to help out the fellow competitors. I saw him the lap before. I think he was, probably a K further away, and I was like, God, he's doing it tough. And then to see him a few people in the crowd pointed at him out, and I was like, oh, I'll go give him a hand for the last couple 100 metres. So just little things help out. So
I think the funny thing was, I don't think he realised
at the end of the day.
I don't think he realised who you were to start off with until you actually got there and started pushing him.
I think it's like you're never going to see Craig Lowndes win Bathurst and then run back down Conrod Straight and help push someone else to get across the line. So not only did the guy get a push, he got it from the guy that won the race. When did you think, what the hell, I'm going to do that? Like, when did you make up your mind, I've got to give this guy a hand? And did you know it's even legal? Like, did anybody even ponder whether you can finish with someone pushing your bike?
Yeah, you can. I've seen it happen in Erzberg. Competitors can help competitors, but no supporters can help out. So
because that could have been devastating for you, Chucky. You could have been the ultimate good Samaritan, and he got disqualified. You'd be filthy if you were the guy, wouldn't you?
I don't think he was really worried about that. I reckon he would have been pretty exhausted and just looking for a drink at the end of the line. And he probably had a bet on with his mate. I'm going to finish Hattah this year, so no matter what happens. So.
Well, don't worry. I'd imagine that all his mates are probably saying to him, mate, you got to get off your backside and actually finish this thing, and don't let everybody else push you home, right? Let alone have someone like him do it, mate. That was an awesome effort. Well done,
Chucky. We often talk about this race because we all know what it is, because I know now, but I certainly 4 years ago heard the word Hattah and had no idea what it meant. Can you explain to a motorsport fan or even a sporting fan what you do on a Sunday out in the desert in a little spot called Hattah in Victoria? Tell me about what this race is to a person who has no idea.
It's hard. You have to be there to witness it, really, like as a competitor and a spectator as well. I think just the speed of the boys going around first lap and just everyone on the edge of the track just cheering you on, and you can literally hear the roar, even though our 500s are ripping around the track. You can just feel the atmosphere, and you just got to hold it wedged the whole time. But I think once you get there and see it, you understand, like, it's just a whole great big weekend. Kids are on school holidays, they come up the week before and do some riding, and everyone's prepping for months and months to build their Hattah bike and get it as fast as they can and set up as well as they can. So you really got to go there. And I think all my mates that have gone over the last few years, they just keep bringing their mates and even their families coming up, and it's just growing and growing, I think, and it's good to see. And once you go once, you get the bug, and it's all it's all uphill from there.
How do you describe the start? I mean, the video footage, everyone's got to YouTube this. Everyone has to Google Hattah Desert Race start, because just the idea of unleashing hundreds of motorbikes in a system that is like funneling this enormous volume of people into one corner without any incident pretty well in the first corner. How does it work, and does it fire you up at that start? It's critical, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's especially when you're at the front, you're gauging the pace of the race, really. So once you get in the lead, there's nothing better than some fresh air and setting the pace and just going through the track first. And you want to finish first, so you don't want anyone to pass you. So the start is unique, and I think it's very safe, and it gives everyone a fresh sort of clean, a bit of clean air. So I think it's one of the, for that mass riders on the start line, it works, and everyone loves it too. Except for if you're like second and all the way back, you're copping the roost. So other than that, it's perfect if you're out front.
Anyone behind first, it probably sucks a bit, I would imagine, with the build-up of dust. But that one system with the quad, how it just, nobody jumps because obviously you can't. What a brilliant system.
Yeah. Unless you are, I've seen a few video footages of some guys getting a bit itchy and leaving a little bit early and clipping the rear of the quads. It's probably not the best thing, but yeah, it's good.
What riding are you doing at the moment, mate? Like, how much time are you able to spend on a bike?
I've probably had really 2 months off since our last Australian Off-Road Championship, and I was planning to do Think this year, and I was literally 2 days from heading up, and then I was heading up on the Wednesday, and they called Think off on the Monday night or Tuesday, so
Yeah.
it was a bit of a bummer. I was going to go up and do some pre-running and sort of look into doing more desert stuff, and then I normally do the Boundary Bend race and then the Oyen Club Runner sand race as well, and it's a bit of a bummer to shut down a lot of the desert races this year. So for what I use for a lead up going into Hattah, and it's just awesome training. But yeah, at the moment I've just gone sort of back into training because we were planning to do the South Australia round but that's all been cancelled now as well. So it's just set the mindset back a little bit again, and just wondering if we're even going to race this year and whether it's worth going just to do 3 weekends of racing. But it's tough at the moment for us because we don't know what we're training for, or you don't know what your goal is. You just got to push it onto next year really, and just keep the ball rolling.
So really, for you now, it's about trying to be as fit as you possibly can within reason, so that when the dial turns where we can start to go racing again, that step from being fit-ish to being race-sharp fit, which is where you really need to be competing against guys, that step or that transition is quite short or small, and you don't have to step a lot. So it really is just riding and staying physically fit, and then sharpening the mental part of it when you do get, as I said, the dial back onto race competitively again.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's just, we're not going to be at our peak like we were this time last year, but it's just going to be who's sort of been training and riding, and some people have had to go back and work a normal job again, not living the dream. So it's tough. It's been tough on us so-called pro riders, but I think hopefully, fingers crossed for next year, we get our race season back and lives go back to normal, and we can get rid of this bat flu.
Chucky, you must be filthy, mate, because the whole 4-wheel motorsport industry had sim racing to go to, right? Just to get their rocks off, to keep their eye in, they all went sim racing. I don't imagine there's any 2-wheel form of sim racing that you could have kept your hand in either.
No, not really. There's only the PlayStation and Supercross to play on that. Really, that's as close as you get. So
yeah,
it's a bit hard. But anyway, I live in property, so I'm fortunate I can ride every day if I want. So I don't need to have to sit on a computer and race around a car track or something like that. So got it all out the back door, and I just get into it as much as I can.
Well, if nothing else, we're certainly looking forward to catching up with you next year when we do run Hattah. I believe it'll be as big as it's ever been. I think everybody just wants to come back and ride it. There are so many people that at the moment would love to have been here but can't for obvious reasons. And I think the Hattah family will just be so much bigger and better next year. Certainly looking forward to catching up with you and your teammates as we press on towards the next event.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it more than you guys, I reckon.
Good to catch up with you, Chucky.
This morning, and I was just like, I just sort of hit the low spot. I was like, I should be racing this time right now. We should be on the start line. We should be going full noise. So yeah, great to catch up with you, and I'm thankful to be on this this little show you've got going on. It's awesome to give back to all the supporters and the fans out there, and yeah.
What'll make you feel even worse, Chucky, is that Ken Reid said in about 45 minutes after the start, he said, yeah, well, Chucky would have just done his first lap now. So he's been updating us on every time that you would have been doing your extra lap. I really appreciate you keeping your seatbelt on for the interview too, because you never know, Johnny, when you and I are talking to people, you never know what can happen. So good work, Chucky, for safety, mate.
Yeah, first up on the road. I don't know what the driver was like in cover, and I could get T-boned from the side.
Be safe, brother. We'll talk to you again soon. There is the...
Righto, thanks, boys.
Good to catch up with him. There's a man who knows how to win and do it in style when he went back and did that push.